The Detroit Pistons just played their best game of the season, got their best win of the season against the Philadelphia 76ers, and Cade Cunningham continued to show that he is a future superstar in the making. Let's get into it and talk about it on today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. And if you have not already, or you're one of the 50% of people who are watching this on YouTube and haven't hit the subscribe button, go over there, hit that big red button, do that for me. It's the best way to support the podcast. I'd really appreciate it. We're on our road to 3,000 subscribers, continuing to show Locked On with the best and fastest growing fan base at the Locked On Network. So again, head over there, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This game against the Philadelphia 76ers by the Detroit Pistons was by far the most fun I've had watching the Pistons since you'd have to go back to at least the 2018-2019 season, probably going all the way back to Blake's 50-point game against the Philadelphia 76ers, same team. And maybe it might have even been more fun watching this one. Like that 50-point game by Blake is one of my favorite games I've ever watched in a Pistons uniform. But this game, just as pure fun and pure happiness and enjoyment, this game right here was spectacular. Mind you, the Pistons are going against the 76ers team with Embiid and Harden healthy. They're both in this game playing. And you want to know why the Pistons won this game? Because they had the best player on the court. Yep, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it. Joel Embiid, yeah, he dropped 37 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 11-19 shooting, 14 of 16 from the free throw line. I don't care. I don't care even a little bit. The Pistons won this game because Cade Cunningham is a freaking superstar in the making. This dude is going to be competing for MVPs for years and years to come. This dude is legit. I can't believe the Pistons have Cade Cunningham. Like, seriously, just sit back and think about it. The Pistons have been through, 14 years now, going all the way back to 2008, 2009, since they traded Chauncey, of just really struggling to have top-end talent, to have a top-end team, the really good team, all that kind of stuff. They've struggled for years having it, where we had to sit here and get hype over, listen, this dude's my guy, but we had to get hype over Andre Drummond, had to get hype over Reggie Jackson, had to get hype over Luke Kennard. Like, all those guys are my dudes. I grew up watching them, and they're decent players. They're good players still in the NBA, contributing for contenders, but none of them were the dude. Those are the type of players that Pistons fans had to grow up in my generation hoping turned into the guy. And we have sitting here been looking at false idols for 14 years. But now the son, the king, has shown up in Detroit, and he is here, and his name is Cade Cunningham. Literally, there's nothing that this dude can't do. I tweeted out during the game. He's literally close. Once he gets his three-point shot going, like, consistently, because that's the one part of his game right now offensively that's inconsistent, really. Once he gets his three-point shot going, I don't know how you're going to stop him. I don't know how you're going to stop him. Remember before the season and during the draft and before the draft, even after the draft in the summer league, whatever, people were worried about his quote-unquote finishing and his ability to finish around the basket or in the restricted area because he wasn't a freak athlete like Jalen Green. And by the way, we are objective over here. We drip with objectivity. So Jalen Green, he's been playing really well. He's been looking really good too. So I'm not going to sit here and trash on Jalen Green. He's actually been looking really good. But everyone was sitting there saying he's not as explosive as Jalen Green. He's going to struggle finishing around the rim in the restricted area, blah, blah, blah. No, not even close. The dude has some of the most creative and just amazing finishes. Just go watch the highlights of this past game. The dude was finishing with right hand, left hand, running hooks, floaters. You guys know about, if you guys played 2K back in 2K16, the little Steph Curry layup when he throws it 30 feet in the air. He had one of those finishes over Embiid. He has one when he finishes through Embiid, over Embiid around the rim. He has one when he goes open up and under. He has one when he's falling away from the basket, avoiding contact and getting off the glass. Like, this dude has every creative finish in the book. So yes, maybe he's not the explosive athlete. We all see that he's a pretty damn good athlete, but no, he's not Vince Carter. No, he's not Jalen Green. No, I'm sorry. But what he is extremely talented. And he knows how to work angles. He knows how to get open shot. He knows how to change gears. He knows how to play his own pace, know when to turn it up and when to slow it down. There's literally nothing this dude can't do. In between game from the 3-point line to the basket, this dude's close to unstoppable already. Like in 2 years, this dude is legit going to be unstoppable. He's on, I think, a Luka trajectory. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's on a Luka trajectory. This dude, there's nothing he can't do. He can finish around the rim, either hand, floaters, over the basket, underneath finishes, running floaters. Like there's nothing that is finishing over the rim, dunking the ball. He can do all of it. He can draw contact, which hopefully he finally gets free throws next season when the season comes along. But he literally put on display every part of his game in this game against the Philadelphia 76ers, and it was literally amazing to watch. I'm like, you guys can hear it in my voice. Like, I haven't felt so happy and had so much fun watching the Detroit Pistons in years as I did this game. And there's other reasons why, and we'll talk about that in the podcast, but the very first number one reason is the fact that the Detroit Pistons finally have a franchise player. They have a future superstar who I think will be competing for MVPs in the future in Cade Cunningham. This dude, and along with his scoring, like I just said, finishes with either hand, can pull up from any area inside the arc. He can snake a pick and roll, manipulate a pick and roll, get guys in jail, keep them on their back. He can literally do everything in between the game. And we're not even talking about his passing. There was a play in the third quarter. And it was just, and he had multiple passes that were just really good on reading the defense. But this play really stuck out. He ran a Spain pick and roll. And if you guys know what a Spain pick and roll is, cool. If you don't, I'm going to try my best to explain it. It's when when you set a normal screen, like a normal pick and roll with a guy, but there's a guy underneath around the basket setting a pick on the screener's guy. So it's like a double pick. The initial screener is setting a screen on the ball handler's guy, and then there's a guy behind him setting a screen on the screener's guy. So the pick and roll guy, the roll guy goes, and then the guy that was setting a screen on the screener's guy then floats all the way around and pops back up to the top of the key. And usually the read here is Cade going to the basket or Bagley getting a lob around the rim because the defense gets confused about where to switch. Or because they get confused where to switch, the guy rotating back up top gets wide open. Neither of those were open. And guess what Cade does? Cade makes the next level read to see that the guy in the opposite corner is tagging down to the Spain pick and roll and whips a corner pass. I don't remember who. I think it might have been Isaiah Livers who hit the three. But he zips a corner pass through that. On point, timing, perfection, accuracy, perfection, touch, perfection. Like this dude, he sees everything. He knows what the defense is going to do one step ahead of when they know when they're going to do it. He can finish around the rim. He can pull up. He can score. He can pass. He can find his teammates. He makes his teammates better. This dude is the whole package. I'm going to end it there. But this game against the Philadelphia 76ers, their best win of the season by far. Best win of the season by far, led by Cade Cunningham with an absolutely packed Little Caesars Arena, which I absolutely loved hearing. That made it so much more fun watching too. The fact that even sitting at home watching, you can hear the crowd get into it. You can hear how loud they are. You can literally, it's almost like your phone or your TV's vibrating by how loud it was. I haven't seen LCA that packed and that loud since the Pistons playoff game in 2019 against the Milwaukee Bucks. And I hope Cade got to see that, and not even just Cade, Killian, Sadiq, Stu, Isaiah Livers, Bagley, all the guys got to see this is what Detroit fans will do when you give them something to root for. That's what we show up. That's what we look like. This game, just in all facets, was amazing, and it was led by their number one overall pick and their future superstar, future MVP in the making in Cade Cunningham. The dude's special. It's as simple as that. He's special. Special, man. Absolutely special, and he should be the Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about it. You can't watch this dude. He is... I'll just leave it at that. I can go on for days. He's special, dude. He's special. Special, dude. When we come back, Killian Hayes continue to play a good game, continue to improve, and continue to bring believers to our side of the Killian Hayes believers. Sadiq Bey, 20 points. Continue to have a good game. Got contributions from everywhere. We'll talk about all the guys that helped Cade pull this win out against the Philadelphia 76ers when we come back. But first, let me tell you about one of our sponsors, BetOnline.net. After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top teams for the Final Four and will determine this year's national champion this coming week. Unfortunately, the school I root for, Michigan, they got bounced out earlier on. Sucks to see. But anyways, BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports developments, including podcasts and reviews for all the leagues this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't even get me started with the blackjack. I already told you guys, if I get started with that blackjack, I won't be leaving. I'll be there all night. Head to the website today to have that type of fun, or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action today. Again, head to the website betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action today. BetOnline, where the game starts. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. And if you haven't already, head to our YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the podcast. I'd really appreciate on the road to 3,000 subscribers. You guys know all the good stuff. Continuing to show Locked On. We're the best and fastest growing fan base at the Locked On Network. So again, head over there if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Before we move forward, I know some of you guys watching on YouTube will see the light flash in the background. Some of you guys listening to the podcast may hear it. One of my water mains broke in the apartment, and they're outside fixing it. It's like 11 o'clock right now. So yeah, it's late, and they're being pretty loud doing it. And there is a big flashing light going on. So if you guys hear that, I apologize for that. I can't help the fact that, however this happened, the water main broke. And I don't have no hot water now. Like, what the heck, dude? I can't even, take a shower or anything right now. So that sucks. But anyways, let's get back to this game. We've talked enough about Cade Cunningham. I could go on literally this entire podcast and talk about Cade because that's how special that dude is. I probably said the word special like 8 times, but I don't care because that's the only way to describe him special. 9 times now. But he got some help from everyone on the floor. Everyone. Killian Hayes. That's what we're going to start off with. You guys already know why. Killian Hayes now has scored in double figures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in his last 6 games. Now, I told you guys for weeks before this happened, before he started to string together these multiple 10-point games and started to play really well, started to become more aggressive and try to look for a shot. Before all that happened, I was telling you guys for weeks when he was still missing. I told you, listen, I'm starting to see a change of attitude. He's trying to be more aggressive. You're seeing him try to get to the rim more, which is good. He's not settling for pull-ups. He's not settling for a running floater that's like off balance, whatever. He's trying to get straight to the rim. And I told you guys, it's going to be rough for a minute. He's still probably going to miss, but you're seeing it happen. Just be patient. It's going to start paying off. You can see things starting to click with him in his head. You can see it starting to happen. And over the past, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, you're starting to see it all come together for him. He still has a long ways to go developing. Obviously, he has a lot of things to get better at still. He's still not even that great at getting to the basket. He still has a lot of ways to go. But he's showing you why guys like me are big believers in him. Why guys like me believe that he can be a really damn good player in this league, and why I don't think that he's a bust, and why I don't think why the Pistons could still feel strongly in their pick of him over other guys behind him. He still has that chance, and I think he has a chance to do it. Again, this game that he just played against the Philadelphia 76ers will be game 87 for him. That means he has just now finished a regular season, rookie season amount of games. He was injured his entire rookie year. He's finally got enough sample size, finally got enough games under his belt to where you can actually call him a rookie. And you want to know what the craziest part about it is? His last 6 games has been probably his best stretch of his career. You want to know what his last 6 games actually would be considered if he didn't get injured? His second season in the NBA. So it's almost like you saw the natural progressions that you would have seen over his rookie season if he didn't get hurt through 82 games. You saw him through those 82 games, his first 82 career games. You saw him struggle. You saw him come back from the injury, look better. You saw him start to slowly and gradually get better and better and get more aggressive trying to get to the rim. Ever since he's come off the bench, he's gotten more aggressive trying to get all the way to the basket. You saw that progression slowly. It wasn't some big jump. It wasn't some big leap. It's not like he saw some big leap in the box score. But if you saw this during his rookie season, you would have said to yourself, okay, we can see him slowly starting to get better. You can see the slow jump starting to happen. And now over the last 5 games, that would be like games 1 through 6 of his second season, games 83 to 87, 88. He is playing extremely well. He's looking like he's figuring things out. He's looking like he's improving. He's looking like he knows how he can affect the games in better ways. And he's looking to score the ball. He's looking to be more of a scorer. There was multiple plays tonight, and I couldn't wait to record this podcast. Not just because of Cade Cunningham, who's absolutely, again, 10th time special, but also because Killian Hayes, there was something that happened tonight with Killian Hayes and Dwayne Casey that should absolutely tell the tale of everything. It should let you know that Dwayne Casey's seeing it. Dwayne Casey believes in him. Killian Hayes is seeing it in himself, and he believes in himself a hell of a lot more. And it's just simply 3 plays that happen. Just simple 3 plays, and it was all the same action. Usually, what happens is they let Killian bring the ball up, and they run an off-ball screen action for Frank Jackson or Cade Cunningham to get the ball around the wing, to get them running into a pick and roll set, to get them into a scoring kind of action, get them a head start, and try to get them into a score first action, getting downhill towards the rim, whether it's a pull up from midi, or all the way to the basket. That's what usually happens. Now, mind you, this is Frank Jackson who instead brought the ball up, not some other point guard. They went out of the way to make Frank Jackson bring the ball up. Why? Because Killian Hayes came into the game, immediately was aggressive and scored. And after that, Dwayne Casey has showed us that he's having increased belief in Killian Hayes to be a scorer, because instead of Frank Jackson or Cade Cunningham playing off on that action, he had Frank Jackson bring the ball up and had Killian Hayes come off the off-ball screen into a scoring action. And guess what happened? Killian did not come off this screen, which, by the way, I want to give Dwayne Casey credit because he had him coming off it to his left. So it really got him going strong, which is how it should have been for a long time. I'm not going to say anything, but you should have been designing actions for him getting downhill to his left. But either way, Killian got the ball, did not look to pass for any of these 3 sets. Any of these 3 actions that they ran did not look to score. I believe he scored on all 3. A score happened on all 3 of these possessions because he got downhill, went to the basket. One of them he finished over a defender. Another one, he got a tough-ass finish over DeAndre Jordan going to the basket. And another one, he did a fake off-ball pass and finished over, I believe it was Danny Green around the rim too. So those 3 plays, whether he scored on them or not, the fact that Dwayne Casey is seeing that his aggressiveness to score, the fact that Killian's having this confidence now to go after it and score for himself, and they're now designing plays to get him not into a set where he can, okay, Killian, we're going to design a set to where, yeah, you could go score, but you're probably going to end up passing it. We're not going to put you in a position where we're forcing you to try to go score. No, they put him in multiple actions in this game where they're like, you, Killian, are going to be our guy off the bench. We need to score and keep this game close. We are relying on you to score the ball. And Killian, what he would have done a few months ago would have been to look to pass still and not been aggressive scoring. But what we saw tonight and what we've seen over the last few weeks is that he took this on and said, okay, I want to score. I'm going to be the scorer for this team off this bench. And I'm going to get to the rim. And he got to the rim over and over and over against one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. This is one of his best games of his career. He's continued this stretch, and he's continuing to show that he's putting things together. He's putting it together. Troy Weaver's probably in his front office absolutely smiling his ass off because Killian's looking like the guy he drafted. It was going to take Killian a long time. I told you guys this last year. It was going to take Killian a minute. He was a project. He was very raw. It was going to take him a minute. He had some very raw skill sets, but it was going to take him a minute to develop everything. And now in game 87 of his career, I know it's technically 19 months into his career. So I know it seems like a long time, but it's not. So now game 87 into his career, just 5 games over a rookie season, we're seeing him show developments that you would have saw already over a rookie season heading into his second year. I am ecstatic for his technical 3rd season, but I'm calling his sophomore season really next year because I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be really good. I cannot wait. I can't wait, man. He's going to be a really damn good player. I believe it with everything in me, and I think he's done nothing but show everyone that that's going to happen. It's going to happen. I have nonstop belief that he's going to be a really good player in this league, and I think it's going to start next year. So another reason why this game against the Philadelphia 76ers was so much fun. Cade was special 11 times now, and Killian Hayes continued his improvement and continued to play really well and continued to get to the basket and try to score the basketball, and he did it. And he shot really well doing it too. It wasn't like some 3 for 20 or 3 for 12 game. He shot 5 of 8 from the field. He missed both his threes. I believe both his threes, though, were shot clock heaves, which, by the way, I really getting sick of him shooting because it hurts his percentages. But he played really well. He had 3 steals, too. And we're going to talk about that later in the podcast, too. But I do want to give credit to someone else. We will give credit to that person when we come back from the ad break. But first, I have to tell you guys about one of our favorite sponsors, Built Bar. This is the time of year that I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions. But not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right, and it's thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not even really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you ever tried the Puffs Built Bar? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting protein bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallow, they're not just a protein bar, they're an absolute treat. And guess what? They're covered in 100% real chocolate. It's not just the Puffs bars either. All Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. But it's still low calorie and high protein. Place your candy bars with these. They taste better and they're better for you. The typical candy bar can be anywhere between 2 to 300 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. Go to built.com and scroll down to the macros chart. You'll be absolutely blown away. High protein, low calories. High fiber, low carbs. Most Built Bars are 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. And along with it being 100% real chocolate, they have all kinds of flavors too to make it taste even better. Mint brownie, coconut almond, and new flavor this month, white chocolate, cookies and cream. You guys know my favorite is the peanut butter flavor. They got cherry barcia, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, any flavor you can really think of, they have it. And the crazy thing about Built Bar, if you're constantly checking out Built.com, they're coming out with even more limited time flavors as we speak. At Built Bar, they're all about the taste. They make it delicious first, then figure out how to make it healthy. I don't know how, but they pull it off every single time. So go to Built.com and use promo code LOCK15. You'll get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. And if you haven't already, head to our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You guys all know all the good stuff. Best fan base at Locked On the road to 3,000 subscribers. You guys get that. I've said it plenty enough. You guys know. You guys know, right? You know. But anyways, we've talked about Cade. We talked about Killian. And there's a ton of other things to talk about, really. And I don't really have enough time to talk about all these things on just one podcast. That's how amazing this game was. So we're going to try to cram it all into this part right here. So I want to give credit to Saddiq Bey, who had himself a nice game. He didn't shoot that well from the field. He shot 44% from the field, 33% from deep. But he came up with key buckets at the end of this game, and he stayed aggressive throughout the night. And I was in a Pistons Twitter Spaces. If you don't know what a Spaces is, it's like a group. You assemble like a it's like you have a few people speaking, everyone else just clicks in, they listen. It's like a little community thing. You get to talk about the Pistons afterwards. They make a space, they make a little grouping. Everyone can either talk or you can listen in, whatever. So if you want to tune into one of those, definitely check those out after games. They're usually always going on in Pistons Twitter, and I'll be in those from now on because there's a lot of fun. I know there's not a lot of time left in the season, but check those out in what games we have left. But I mentioned this in that Spaces that Saddiq Bey, something that showed in this game that I really highlights his season. It's not his ability to get to the rim that's a little bit better, not his shooting, not anything else. It's simply his decisiveness. That's what's been the key to him this season. He is deciding what he wants to do like that. He's not taking 8 dribbles to figure out what he wants to do. He's not taking up too much time figuring out what he wants to do. He's catching the ball and he's making his decision like that, and it's resulting in incredible success for him. I'm really happy watching Saddiq because Saddiq, the things I was critical of him last year and the beginning of this season and things I was worried about and kind of, I'll be straight up, I didn't think he would be able to develop those kind of things. A lot of those things I feel like are some things that guys either just have or don't have. However, Saddiq's one of those guys who has done a good job developing it. He's developed a much better IQ offensively. He's become much more decisive. And there was one more play that I want to point out about Saddiq Bey, and then we'll move on. He had a drive down the right corner. He drove. He brought Joel Embiid over on the help defense. There's like 3 guys in the key. And usually, last year earlier season Saddiq is trying to go up with this and probably getting an offensive foul. Heck, even like a few weeks ago, Saddiq, like 2 months ago, month ago, Saddiq is probably just trying to fit that dump off pass, the first read, the easiest read, to Isaiah Stewart. That wasn't just open because there's 3 guys in the paint. So those 2 reads that he would have always made, he did not make. You want to know read he did make? The cross-court skip to Isaiah Livers, who hit the 3. He's showing little tiny developments in his game like that help a basketball team incredibly. Like those little tiny details may seem like nothing to the average fan, but it's incremental in a guy's development to be able to make those kind of passes and be able to see, okay, I don't want to force the shot around. I don't want to pick up this foul. It'd be a waste of possession. I need to make the right read here, and the right read is not the first read. It's the cross-court pass, and that's something he's adding to his game. Overall, Saddiq has really, really proved me wrong this year, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy as hell to be wrong about it. He's really proved something this year. I'm happy that we have Saddiq. Another guy, we've said his name a few times, but we haven't really talked about it. Isaiah Livers continues to just be excellent off the bench. He is going to be a gem of a find by Troy Weaver. Just an absolute connector offensively. And, we'll kind of tie what I wanted to talk about after Isaiah Livers together. In the closing lineup, the Pistons ran, I don't know, I don't want to say this because it might be inappropriate for some of the people, but let's just say I was feeling a type of way watching this closing lineup. And it was I was very happy. Let's say that. It was Cade Cunningham, Killian Hayes, Sadiq, Isaiah Livers, and Kelly Olynyk. First of all, you have two ball handlers, you have spacing everywhere, and you're switching everywhere defensively. And what makes this lineup work is the fact you have connectors everywhere. You don't have ball stoppers anywhere. You don't have nobody. You don't have people on the floor who don't speak. They're talking nonstop defensively. They're interacting with each other. They're moving the ball really well. They have great chemistry. They're trying to find the right shot, not the hardest shot or the first shot. They're trying to find the right shot. They did that for about 8 minutes. I believe they won like a 23-5 run against the 76ers with this lineup because they just clicked just like that. They played incredible defense down the stretch on James Harden. Cade and Killian really made life hell on James Harden. He struggled tremendously this game. He shot 4-15 from the field. He had 3 turnovers. At one point, he was searching Killian out on a switch like he was a mismatch. I don't know why he did that. But either way, I don't want to take this anywhere. I don't want to take this too far away from Isaiah Livers because it all comes back to what makes him such a great pick is that he is a connector. He is not going to hold the ball. He's going to play really good defense. He's going to stay in front of his guy. And the best thing about him defensively is he's talking nonstop. I swear to God, if you watch a game, you can't go more than 3 seconds without hearing Isaiah Livers talk or seeing him talk to somebody. He's constantly talking about the next rotation, the play that's coming, the screen that's coming. Hey, switch. Hey, I'm a tag down. You got my he's talking nonstop. And you don't understand. If you haven't played basketball, or even for those of you who have played basketball, you guys will know having someone who's talking to you behind you, as your general, it helps your defense so much. And what makes it even better is when it's not just Isaiah Livers, who is a great piece. He probably gets it started. I think it really started when he's getting to the lineup because he's not afraid to speak. But now that you got him speaking, guess what? Now you got Kelly Olynyk. He's speaking. He's not a great defender, but he's going to talk, and he's a smart defender. Isaiah Livers talking. Kelly Olynyk talking. Cade Cunningham talking. Killian Hayes talking. All these guys are connecting the lineup together. The problem with some of the other lineups that we've seen throughout this year, and my biggest issue with this team that you saw throughout the majority of this season, is that this team was not connected. It was a bunch of guys trying to get their own, bunch of guys trying to get their own score, trying to get their own points. And defensively, if you really saw it defensively too, because they weren't talking, they weren't connected. The chemistry wasn't there. They got a little bit better with it, but it never really was just there. You didn't see it. When a team has that kind of connectivity and they flow together, you'll see it like that. It's not going to be like you're trying to squint your eyes to try and make it work. No, this lineup and the guys like that you have on the floor, they fit, they connect, they make things work on both ends because they're constantly talking and they're trying to look for the right shot. And that starts, I feel like it really did start when Isaiah Livers came into the lineup and started getting minutes because he's an older rookie. He's an older guy, and he's a smart guy, a 4-year player at Michigan, John Beilein, smart guy. So he really brought that. I really want to give him a ton of credit. I feel like it really did start with him. But that closing lineup was perfection. They absolutely destroyed the Philadelphia 76ers. It wasn't close. They were beating the brakes off Joel Embiid and James Harden. Simply not from having more talent than the other side, not from out-isoing them or, hitting more tough buckets than them. No, they did it from moving the ball, talking, making the right plays, precise screens, precise decisions, all those things. They played smooth. They played perfect basketball. They played the right way. They played with chemistry with each other. They wanted to see the team win, not themselves win. You saw it on display for about 7 minutes there. They dominated the Philadelphia 76ers. And that probably was the most fun I've had watching the Pistons in a long time. So I want to start that credit by Isaiah Livers because I feel like it started when he became part of the rotation a few weeks ago. But all the way from Isaiah Livers to Kelly Olynyk to Sadiq Bey to Killian Hayes and to Cade Cunningham, for all those guys just being tremendous down the stretch and being great connectors of a lineup. It's amazing, man. It was an amazing game to watch. It was an amazing game to be a Pistons fan. And I'll tell you guys this. Screw the tank. I'll take a win like this, a game like this, and a win like this with the type of crowd that the Pistons had against a team like they beat with a potential MVP, with a former MVP on it too, with Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. and all NBA defender and Matisse Thybulle, you do that against them and you beat the living breaks off of them at the end of this game, screw the tank. Tank don't matter. You want to know what does matter? The development of every single one of those guys I just named that closed this lineup, playing well and outplaying one of the best teams and one of the title contenders in the entire NBA. That's what matters. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did watching this game. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode of Locked On Pistons podcast, man. I'm your host, per usual, Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. Make sure you guys make Locked On NBA your second listen of every single day. Locked On NBA hosts Monday through Friday for 30 minutes talking about everything NBA. Again, they're also free and available on all your podcast platforms. Make sure you guys go check that out. If you haven't already, head to our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Best way to support the podcast. And we're going to head into the weekend. We got another game today for the Detroit Pistons on Friday. I back-to-back. So enjoy that. Enjoy the games. The season's coming to an end. Cade Cunningham 12 times is special. Killian Hayes is developing. He's showing you. He's coming along. Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Livers, Kelly Olynyk, all these other guys. Great stuff for tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers. Great win. I'll see you guys in the next one. And, man, go Pistons.